We will have it. Hello, I'm Liz Lawless, and this is our Dynamic Authors Group Tuesday Book Club. And so we're so glad that you're here with us tonight. We're very excited that Mary Ellen Hastings is going to be sharing with us tonight about her book, which is called Follow Your Heart for Life, Be Happy. It's 8 steps for women of faith to excel in leadership, sales, and personal growth. So, Mary Ellen, thanks for being here tonight. And we'll let you kind of share just a couple of minutes of your background and history, and then you can share with us something from your book. That would be great.
Okay, great. When I was a young girl, I had an encounter with God, and I asked him if he would guide me in my life. And of course he did. And one of the things he guided me to as a young mom was a way for us to make extra income through the direct selling industry. So I did that as a career. And that's where I earned and saved my money for retirement. And that's how, I live today. And I'm very grateful. And God has told me that I have to share what I have learned with others. So that's where I am today.
No, great, great.
Okay, so what I want to do is begin. I think this is the most informative chapter for people who are in business. And it's chapter 7, and it's called Leadership Through Relationship Building. But the scripture is at the top is something that I kept with me. Although I didn't talk about this, I kept it in my heart the whole time I was doing my business. And this is what it says: I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. All leadership begins with the leader, even before a single person joins the team. Don't join a company because a friend asks you to join. Do your due diligence before you decide to partner with any company. Ask some important questions, such as, are the products and ladder of success outstanding? Do the products and programs excite you? What is the culture of this company? Are the company values aligned with your values? After gathering your facts, are you able to visualize yourself leading a very enthusiastic and lucrative team in that company? Are you willing to continue growing personally to become a skilled leader that an extremely productive group requires? If you want to have a large wealth building sales team, you need to comprehend a few things. Number one, you must learn the how-tos of team building and leading. In this industry, there is room for just about everyone. You encourage all team members to use their talents and skills to build their customer base and their team. Help them figure out their strengths. Some leaders are so funny that people will join and flock to their team just for the happy time to be with those people. Some are so knowledgeable that people who love to learn will flock to them. And some are so professional that business types practically line up to join their teams. And I had all those kinds of leaders in my downline. Realize that success is not about you. Your team takes you across the finish line. Nothing could be truer. Number 3, know that there is a big difference between developing business and enjoying a hobby. Build a business structure that will pay off big time for you and the members of your team. Number 5, remain committed to personal growth. The challenges of moving up higher will force you to go out of your comfort zone repeatedly. As you learn, enhance life and business skills, put them into practice and share them with your team, especially your leaders and future leaders. They will learn far more from what they see you do than from what you tell them to do. Your team is watching and listening for direction. Be the leader you want them to become. Number 6, a leader unites her and his team in a collective goal to make the world a better place by spreading the word about life-changing products or services and unlimited business opportunities. Number 7, if your team is not meeting the requirements to maintain a level or move to the next level, see who is ready to move up higher and work with those people. When you no longer see anyone who wants and deserves your time and attention, double down on adding new team members yourself. When you have grown as a person, you are willing to take complete responsibility for what you do and what you do not do. You are not always responsible for the results of your actions, but if you own up to them, you can learn from them. Seek guidance from the best mentors you can find and adjust as you go forward. Building your team. As leaders, we love our team members equally, but how we divide our time with them is not equal. The more time invested team members should get the most time and attention from us. Let me explain further. There is room for everyone of varying interest levels in this business. People are looking for full-time opportunities, part-time opportunities, and some just for something fun to do as a hobby. Use your precious time where you can be the most productive. That is what great leaders do. After all, time is like currency, invest it wisely. This principle was difficult for me to learn because by nature, I tend to like everything to feel balanced. I had to learn a new policy about team building. This one I call go where the action is. I look for who is ready, willing, and able to move ahead with their business, and I spend extra time with that person. Perhaps the first 5 people that come into business do not yet have the level of interest to become one of your leaders. Should you give up? No. Keep looking for interested people, offering the business opportunity first. I love this quote by Paul Warren. Cream always rises to the top. So do good leaders. Heart-centered leadership. How we communicate with our team members makes all the difference in the world in their future performance. Your most important job is to make them feel special, individually and as a team. Recognize people often. Find ways for them to see and hear their name mentioned. Use recognition categories like sponsoring, sales, and promotions to higher levels. Add categories like top 5 most creative, most shared ideas, overcomers, most no's received, consistency, helpful solutions, etc. Do your recognition in a way that gets everyone acknowledgement when they work hard on business building activities. We all love to see and hear our names. You might see loyalty like you never imagined. You can do some or all of this through email, texting, video conferencing, team telephone, group calls, and of course, whenever you have live group events. I have seen countless examples of personal growth in team members. Our team experienced lots of growth from individual creativity, humor, sharing of ideas. A simple new icebreaker or booking game to be used at an open house created new excitement for the entire team. Our group motto was, together we grow. Leadership development. It was fulfilling to see ladies and gentlemen join our sales team and go on to build teams of their own. We saw leaders influence their team members also to become leaders. We became a family of people helping one another succeed in life and business. One of our team members, Anne, moved to another state and built a great team. She went on to develop many team leaders in her organization. We communicated weekly, and I would visit her team quarterly to assist in training. As I listened to God and worked hard, I was blessed and privileged to develop talented leader teams, and together we mentored many women to not only supplement their family income, but also have a sense of freedom and fulfillment, thereby creating their economies with a sense of independence. We watched as our members blossomed right before our eyes. In answering my prayers, God provided prosperity in many ways. Many women were building self-esteem and confidence while they were building income and bettering their lives, the lives of their family members. For me, there is no greater reward. Now, I want to tell you, so that this is not just from my words, some of the people who were my leaders who were willing to share a small portion of this chapter. So I will just go into, I won't do the introduction. Jean Burton, in her words, all we accomplished came from hard work, being willing to hear many no's, making a million calls, driving at night in a strange place, arriving at a show where no one was home, having one of our successful consultants leave the business, product issues, etc. But we were so excited to earn more money and trips for our family that we overcame all of the challenges. Our excitement was contagious. It started with us and went through our entire downline, our hostesses, and our customers. Enthusiasm was the key. The meaning of the word enthusiasm is God within. He was the power within us that gave us so many creative ideas, along with energy to work hard with a joyful spirit while we were helping others. I have such fond memories of my 20 years in direct sales. God used my outgoing personality to attract other women who needed extra income. All I had to do was show up, be honest, be enthusiastic, loving, and kind to all. God blessed us abundantly. Then I had Ann Griffin, who was another one of my top leaders. In Ann's words, my success in direct sales was due to an incredible mentor and Mary Kay Ash principles. I also utilized the 1 Minute Manager book to develop a winning team. Mary Ellen Hastings, my mentor, taught me to listen, encourage, and recognize my team. Mary Kay Ash also taught me to start my conversations with something they did well that I noticed. I sandwiched in the middle what I thought might be limiting them and maybe holding them back, and then ended with my vision of where I saw them in the future. The 1 Minute Manager taught me that I did not need a lot of time to do this if I focused on the right things when I had conversations. I understood the power of intention and focused on one-on-one discussions while not allowing the wrong people to drain me. I remember moving to Maryland to restart my business, and I did not know anyone. I started my business by booking flea markets with a table display of my jewelry products and had a raffle for prizes. I went home and called the people who filled out the forms and booked in-home shows. When I went to those shows, I remember not being able to book a single referral or hire a recruit. After 30 days, I needed to book another flea market because I did not have any appointments. When I told Mary Ellen this, she said to create a busy posture at any in-home gathering. She said to fill my calendar with personal and other things, leaving only a few spots available for in-home events, and my business took off. Within my first week, I was getting 3 bookings and a recruit from every single in-home presentation. The rest is history. I went on to build a top team with many breakout leaders. With a lot of listening, encouragement, and pointing out what they needed to work on and helping them through each area, I was able to develop top women leaders in the industry. It was a memory at one of the conferences that impacted my conference and will always stay with me. As I told my story at a meeting of over 500 women, you could hear a pin drop. I had everyone's attention, and it seemed they were affected by what I was saying. When I finished, I received a standing ovation. It was a moment that created such confidence in myself. Even though I am no longer in direct sales, the memories, growth, and mentorship were essential to who I am today. They have impacted not only myself, my family, and many others. I am eternally grateful for the 13 years I spent in direct sales. And Peggy Mellon, my first taste of direct sales was when my daughters were very young and I was looking for a way to help our family budget. I sold copper gift items for the home. Although it meant toting large containers of products, the oohs and ahs from my customers made it so much fun. It was then that my love of being able to connect with people, the building of my confidence, and my taste of entrepreneurship came together. A few years later, I moved across the street from Mary Ellen. Her love of people and enthusiasm for her direct sales business once again drew me to sales. Still, not only did I have an opportunity to be successful in doing what I love, but I also loved seeing how products made my customers feel beautiful while having lots of fun during my presentations. Fast forward to today, the best part of my years in direct sales laid the foundation for me to own my own travel business in my retirement years. You never know what God may lead you to. Because of those first baby steps in developing those skills and passions, I am a blessed woman. I hope you enjoy that story.
Good. That's great. So you had 2 teams, is that right?
Well, these are my first 2 full-time teams. I had 2 after that, but they were sort of after I went into retirement. I just did part-time. But these were where I built my career.
Right.
But this one was the one where the one I talk about, and these were my leaders. That was the one where I did the best. I had the biggest team. I made the most money. I had the highest recognition. I went to the top the quickest. It was amazing. It was an amazing family experience. And that's why I wrote this book, to explain what it was that made us successful. Because one of the things I did not like about what I did was I didn't like that other people couldn't earn as much money as I earned. It bothered me.
Right.
And when I got into my retirement time, I thought, now I can tell people all my secrets so they can go to the top. I spent thousands of dollars learning what I learned because nobody was there to teach me. I was with young companies, but I was willing to spend the money so that I could learn and I could get to the top. So now I have what it takes inside of me. And so now I offer that to my coaching clients.
Right. Does
That's
anybody else have a
fantastic.
question?
Any curiosity?
I just was impressed. I guess a comment, was just really impressed. It just that fire is in everybody if you let it, reveal and burn. And obviously, you took it to that next level. You inspired me on a couple of different things you said. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta work harder here.
And you know what? That's the purpose of the book. It's not just for direct selling people. It's business,
Mhm.
and there's little things that I was prompted to put in there that are not just direct selling success tips. They're for all of us, and they're reminders for me. I had to scratch my brain to remember all this stuff, but it was good for me to remember and to be
Yeah.
reminded to use these things.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've gone to seminars throughout my career, and you learn such good stuff, but all of a sudden, if you don't put it in place right away, you lose it. And, then you hear it again. It's like, oh, I was going to remember that, or I was going to use that, and it's like, oh yeah, I need to hear this again.
Implement that in my own
Implement it.
situation. Yeah, for sure.
And some people put this where they can just grab it, just to be reminded when they get to a certain point in their business, they're looking for something, I don't know what, and then they might find it in there. Maybe the first time they read over it, it didn't sink in. But when the opportunity came that they needed the information, it made a lot more sense.
And so it's kind of a workbook too, and a guide, isn't it?
It really is. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't get to the end of the book because they read the chapter, then they apply what what it says to do that makes you grow. And like, if you just read a book through, you're not as apt to grow as if you write about it. There's a question at the end of each chapter for the people to become participants in their own life and move ahead in wherever they are. And it works. And these are all things that I did. And, it's just sharing, like one of the things I teach, and it's not in this book, but it's about values, living your values. Now, today I was coaching someone, And she was new in business, and she's so talented, and she could go in a lot of different directions. But I took that skill that I use for teaching people to work on their values. I said, okay, just make a list of the 10 ways that you could spend your talents making money. And so she did that. And then I said, now pick the one that your heart goes, oh, yes, 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 and make that number one. And then on your list of 9, which other one is, just calls you, you got to do it. So she prioritized all those things, and she can eliminate a lot of trial and error by doing the thing that you love the most, as long as there's a market for it. You might have to figure out a couple things that you love a lot, but then look for where there's the market for it, and how can you help enough people. And then you have the joy of helping people and the joy of just the presentation, and whatever you do makes you joyful. Like, I was so joyful just helping that woman. She was like, she couldn't believe it. She was like so grateful. And I was only on with her for 10 minutes. And she just raved after we got back to where we originally started with a group, about what she learned and where she's going. So that's a joy for me. And if everyone can find their joy spot, hey, that's what life is all about. Finding that, where's your joy? Go find it. It'll find you if you're looking.
That's right. That's right.
It's true.
So, Miss Beth, do you have a question? I know you're on mute, but do you want to jump in with anything? We got a couple of minutes. We're running over a couple since we started a couple of minutes late, but.
Well, I just think this Mary Ellen is just fascinating and so talented and joyful, and beautiful. I'm just learning a whole lot in my life right now, and I don't know. I know what things that make me joyful. I'm not sure if it's a business or if there's a market for it, but just trying to follow what I think where God's leading me, and I'm glad that He led me to you all. I'm enjoying it very much.
Great.
I agree.
Thank you.
I like the way you pointed out how you start somewhere, you kind of in your life, and how it leads to other things and then all of a sudden you're somewhere and you look back and it's all built up to that one point where you don't even realize, what you're doing at the time.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you for bringing that out. That's really true.
Yeah.
All of us are, we're not 20 anymore. So we've had these years of experience. And I swear, every difficulty I've ever had was for a reason. And it's because somewhere I was able to help somebody else cross a bridge that was difficult to cross. And had I not crossed it, how could I have helped them? Had I not failed a million times when I was learning my business, how could I help the girl who was struggling when she was brand new? I couldn't. But when you've struggled yourself and you learned, then you can say, "Oh, honey, I know what you feel like, because I felt the same way. It's all part of your journey, and this is what I did. Maybe that will help you." So it's all a part of helping people. All of our lives are to help the people behind us.
Right, around.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I have a friend that's an educator, and she's like Montessori, and she's doing kindergarten, first grade, very young children's. And her comment that has stuck with me is, you have there are difficult things in life, and you can do them. You can do tough stuff.
Right.
And it's like, how empowering. You can do the tough stuff.
Right.
You can get through this.
One of my favorite lines was from, I guess it was a West Wing episode, and I guess they're coming back and they're running the second time or whatever, and they said, one of them said, there were 3 of them walking up, and you could see them, they were walking up, you could see the Capitol in the distance, they were walking up the road because they had got left behind, and they had like to take a bus or something, and a train and a wagon, and they'd done all this stuff to get back to Washington. And one of them said, "Well, it's going to be a lot harder this time." And the other one said, "What are we going to do?" And the third one said, "We're going to work harder." And I
Yeah.
said, And that's the damnedest thing. I've always loved that line. We're going to do what's hard. That's what he said. He said, we're going to do what's
Do
hard.
what's hard.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I said, not work harder. We're going to do what's hard, And so anyway, well, I
And-
thank y'all for being on the call tonight. We won't keep you because we want to keep our calls to about 30 minutes, but hopefully you will come back and join us next week. We do our Dynamic Authors Tuesday Book Club every Tuesday. And next week, who's going to be on with us next week? What is next week? I'm going to be on next week. Okay, that's right. It's February, isn't it? So I'll be on talking about Western legends yesterday and today in honor of Black History Month. So this is my book about African Americans in the West. And so I will be reading some short stories from that. So if y'all will come back next Tuesday at 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 7 o'clock Mountain, 6 o'clock Pacific Time. And we'll be sharing maybe some legends that maybe you haven't heard about from the 1800s. And then I'll probably share one or two from that are currently living and keeping that Western lifestyle alive. So thanks so much for joining us, Mary Ellen. Thanks for sharing. We appreciate that very much. And we'll be taking some of those things to heart and applying those in our business and our lives. And then we'll let you know how it's working out for us. And we may have some other questions for you later on. So hopefully you'll come back and join us again.
Oh, I'd love it. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, thanks for coming, and we will see you next week.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.